welcome Joshua Luttrell, candidate for Shawnee County District Attorney. He is joining us live from our remote studio. Joshua, good morning. We appreciate your time today.
Yeah, good morning, Aaron. Thank you.
Well, let's start with your top 3 priorities that, if elected, you will accomplish in your first year.
Boy, I've written top 3. Well, ending mass incarceration, focusing on victims, and reconnecting that office with the community. But they're pretty big topics, and so each one has quite a lot of detail.
Absolutely. Well, walk us through what those mean to you.
Sure. So ending mass incarceration is basically the concept that we have too many people going to prison, or we are too easily sending people to jail. We need to be focusing on rehabilitation efforts and finding ways to make sure that people aren't committing crimes again. We should be spending our resources on helping people, both the victims and defendants, to make sure that our criminal justice system works for everybody in our community. So part of that is also helping, like I said, the victims in our community, which is finding support for them both inside the office and outside the office when they are victims of crime. And of course, connecting with their community so the community feels more involved in the criminal justice process.
Okay, so that is your first one then. Go into a little more detail about your second 2.
Actually, that was those. Those were, that covered the 3. But like I said, the helping victims, and so that would be working with victim services, expanding victim services inside the district attorney's office, but also making sure that victims are connected with resources outside of the office. So if they're facing housing instability, if they're facing money instability, things like that, they know that they can be connected with those kinds of services, and also so that they would have trust in the district attorney's office during that difficult process of going through trials and things like that. Like I said, the last one is oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish. Yeah.
Oh, sure. The last one is the connecting with the community. So that means engaging more with the community, engaging more with community leaders, making sure that people in our community feel like their voice is being heard and that they have an invested interest in the outcomes of what's happening at the district attorney's office.
Well, kind of going along with that, gun violence is a problem here in our community. So how would you work to make community members feel safer?
Well, that's a big question. There are a lot of different ways to work on gun violence issues. I certainly give Mr. KG credit and a lot of other people in our community for working on SAVE, which is Strategies Against Violence Everywhere. That's a wonderful community organization that's just starting, so I would be working with that. Continue to work with the local law enforcement, local law enforcement officers to develop community policing strategies. One of the things I've been advocating quite a bit is data collection, and robust data collection, which allows the district attorney's office to share information with law enforcement and the community, so you can find hotspots and also potentially troubled individuals or situations that might turn into problems, and trying to get ahead of gun violence before that happens. Obviously, getting guns off the streets and working with community organizations to do that.
Well, where do you stand on misdemeanor drug offenses?
Well, it's a big topic right now, so I've come out and I said that I don't really have an interest in prosecuting low-level misdemeanor marijuana cases. There are district attorneys all over this nation that have taken that stand and worked towards that kind of reform. How it will look here will depend on the conversations I have with local law enforcement and community leaders. So there's a lot of different ways in which reforming the way we deal with low-level misdemeanor marijuana possession cases.
Well, Joshua, we are almost out of time, but my last question for you, why are you the right person for this job?
Well, I'm passionate about changing our system. I'm from this community. I love this community. I have been an attorney for 12 years. I have a degree in sociology. I know what needs to be done, and so I just ask viewers, check out my issues. If you think the way we've been doing things works, don't vote for me, but if you think that we need change, look into what I'm proposing and vote for me November 3rd.
All right, Joshua, thank you so much for your time this morning. And join us tomorrow when we talk to the incumbent, Mike KG, live on the show.